Although a few have fallen by the wayside recently, car manufacturers like to take pride in the fact that many of their nameplates have withstood the test of time. Let's take the Cavalier, for example. It's been around for about 20 years, and Chevrolet has sold close to 6 million. But that car, like most other cars, has of course evolved with the times. I mean, you gotta wonder how long any vehicle could survive essentially unchanged. Well, the first one that comes to mind, of course, is the Volkswagen Beetle. And this week, we're in Lisbon, Portugal, to meet a car that's been around essentially unchanged since 1959. It was first known as the Austin 7 and then the Morris Minor. And as we all know, the Mini Cooper is back in North America. But this British icon has now been freshened up with a little German engineering.
There's just so much heritage in the Mini and Mini Cooper and Cooper S brands that it's, I think, a good idea to try and build on that and to pay some homage to it. It was a very important car at its time.
I was too young for the original Mini, and I don't have a lot of nostalgia about it except in the movies. But I really love the styling of this one. This is a fun car. This is a fun and practical car, in fact. More so than the Beetle, for instance, which is just fun and not so practical.
In fact, they're almost the antithesis of each other in real terms. The original was crude and cheap and small. This one is actually not small. It's quite roomy inside, and it's anything but crude. It's a very sophisticated car, and it's anything but cheap. It's a premium car, as BMW says, albeit in a relatively small package.
The first car is the entry-level Mini Cooper, 24,900. It's powered by a 4-cylinder, 115 horsepower engine, 5-speed transmission, and 0 to 100 in just a nick over 9 seconds. The Cooper S, though, is the one for the true aficionado. It's a 6-speed manual gearbox. It is 163 horsepower, supercharged, $29,600, and it has all the amenities, and it's on rails, and it needs to be because it's fast.
The ideal Cooper for me would be the S motor in the regular Cooper chassis with the softer suspension, and even perhaps the new CVT automatic transmission we're thinking of bringing in. The standard Cooper doesn't quite have enough power, and the Cooper S may be a little rough riding for our roads in Canada. So while I would choose the Cooper S, the idea would be an amalgam of the two.
The awareness of the old car has certainly surprised us. Anybody over the age of 40 always comes up to us and says, I had one, I knew somebody who had one, and we get a number of colorful stories about one's experiences in a Mini. So very important. A lot of people are aware of the car.
I think what's really going to sell this car in North America is not so much that heritage or spirit. It's going to be the trendiness of the car. It will definitely be the flavor of the month for a while. And perhaps the biggest question they'll face is how long can they make that last?
BMW has to look no further than Volkswagen to see how quickly a car's popularity can fade. Initially a huge success, sales of the new Beetle continue to slump in North America.
Our success will not be born out until 3 years from now when we see what happens. Our job is to make sure this car is successful in year 3 and year 4 and year 5. The easy job is to sell the cars right now. We know that. So we have to keep the car fresh. We have to keep it in front of everybody and make sure we continue to kick up a little bit of a storm and show everybody what the car is capable of.
Now, if you plan on purchasing a Mini, be forewarned you'll be signing more than a check.
Dealers are obliged to only sell it to a maximum of manufacturer's suggested retail price. But that doesn't stop an individual or somebody who makes it a bit of a part-time business whereby they buy a car and then resell it for a profit. We don't think that's fair. So we've said everybody who buys a car will complete a right of first refusal, which will allow us to buy the car back within the first year. We've also asked people to sign a non-export agreement because the car is so immensely hot everywhere else in the world. Again, we don't think we want to see people taking profit from the car and taking the cars that we fight to get into this country to end up going to some other market in the world where they are equally looking for more product.
Performance on this new Cooper S is also quite good. Handling is excellent, but I think they've really captured the essence of what the original Mini was. Small, cheerful, fun, and practical.
They're proud men, those brilliant motorists who've joined the exclusive band of Monte Carlo winners. They can all take the tightest corners, and in addition, they can all drive impeccably. And they all have the same slogan, safety first.
I think that the best thing about the car is just its shape, its look. It's in some respects it's almost disappointing because whereas the old car was very quirky, this car is so homogenized. It doesn't have any quirkiness left in it, and maybe in some respects it's lost a bit of the magic that way.
It is unbelievably cute. Inside, outside, everywhere you go, you just want to just go hug the car. So, I mean, you know, whether they remember it exactly for what BMW or Mini wants them to remember it for, doesn't matter at all. They'll recognize it, and that's all that counts.